Good morning, students. Now, today we are going to start the topic regarding the sources of the history of Islam. Students, in previous class, I had mentioned about the uh, uh, rise of Islam. Now, which that no doubt the influence the whole of the world by directly or indirectly, and Islam now gave a new culture to the entire world, and a new religions, and you can say, in other words, the Islam now provided and gave a new way of the life, new way of the life the Islam provided. Or we see that this new culture, this new the fervor and the enthusiasm of the Islamic people, no doubt help in the establishment of the Islamic world. And moreover, they now not only established their residency in Islamic world, they now expanded their power in the different continents of the world. And students, moreover, as I had already mentioned in our that previous class that what were the sources of Islamic history. So now, first of all, now I had mentions that the sources are generally or commonly divided into the chronicles. Now we know that the chronicles are those history and the sources which are written in the or the events are narrated in the according as the order of the dates or the years. Now, and the moreover, I had mentions about the semi historical works, that there are so many semi historical works, as I had already mentioned that the mentioned about the biographies, the biographies, these are the also sources of the history of the any country. So to construct the Islamic history, you have to be the depend on the tawarikh. Tawarikh are the those sources of the history which are the written in the or the narrated which narrated according to the incident, in the order of the time, on the order of the dates. It is the, and moreover, biographies, this is also called the sira, records of the sayings and doings of the sira. And moreover, we have to see that now the prophets Muhammad's sayings and the doings are also known as the hadith. This is the what the prophets Muhammad now delivered the sermons, his disciples. This is the called, and his doings is the called as hadiths. And now many of the so many commentaries had been time to time written down or the composed based on the Quran, based on the Quran. So those commentaries are known as the tafsir. Those commentaries are also the one of the very important source for the reconstructing the history of Islam. The moreover, these works have been produced from the material collected from a large collection of witness reports. This collection has been the made through the reports. Reports means the akhbar. Understand? Or these chronicles were transmitted. Now we know that now to reach out, the objectivity in the sources is the very important part. Objectivity. It means that anything should be written, or any should thing, any sources which had been collected must be analyzed, must be observed, or must be examined. Whether is a information, the sources of informations are biased or objective, biased or not unbiased. So for the determination and for the fixation of the fixation of the objectivity. Now the Islamic sources had to be the gone through the many processes. So now in these processes, Akhbar was tested by a critical methods, the which the Akhbars and the reports which to become those were first what the it was the this was the analyzed first on analyzed and transmitted over a period of time either orally or the papers. So these akhbars and the chronicles were transmitted orally or the in a written methods, written form. Under under it, the chain of transmission was traced and reliability of the narrator was established. A chain of transmission, a chain of examination, we can say, gone was just conducted. And why? For why? Because to now ensure the reliability of the and to establish the reliability of the narrators. Understand? So this was the this to get the objectivity. These processes were done in the Islamic. Or now we know that the medieval Muslims writers were more careful in selecting their information. And one of the thing was that the medieval Muslims writers were much more very much aware of the collecting and the collecting or careful selecting their information, understanding the motives of the informants. Now they first tested what the motives of the informants is, that to escape from the exaggeration. The many reports say used to be the come as a exaggerated as the uh, by and the many these reports might and may might carry might carry the biasnesses or carry the interest of the informants. Either it might be the wrong, it might be the exaggerated, it might be the certain real information would have not been the given. So to test the actuality and the actual facts, so this kind of the methods were process. And what the motives of the informants is that and of their contemporaries in other parts of the world. So the Muslims writers were very, we can say in the one word, the Muslims writers were now followed the objectivity in their writing or in the selecting of their writings. This objectivity was now just no, objectivity was followed by the writers. So now, students, we can see the moreover the medieval writers they further most of the chronicles and the now semi-historical works have been the produced in Arabic. And for the second thing, in what language these chronicles used to be the produced? In what kind of the language? Now the language was Arabic. The Arab history to know the language where the Arabic mostly or the Tariq of Tabari. Now, Tariq of Tabri, the most significance of all these works is supposed to be the, and it had been the published in it's translated, its English translated volumes counts the 38 volumes now have been the published or the chronicles written in Persia. Now we know that the Persian writers also composed and written the wrote the Persian or detailed information regarding the history of Iran and the Central Asia or Central Asia. Moreover, their numbers are very few, not the in a large number, but their numbers are very few. And Christians chronicles also written in Syriac. The Christians were much interested in the history of Central Asia. Understand? So, though these Christians also wrote it, they wrote the many of the work, and particularly there they just composed the text in the Syriac language. We can say, in other words, a dialect of Aramaic. Aramaic or Aramaic or this dialect was also provided information regarding the history of early Islam. The Syriac, Aramaic was a language. It was the spoken or related to the Hebrew or the Arabic. Aramaic is the, and particularly we know that the Asoka the Great, who had now got inscribed and carve out his inscriptions in the Aramaic language also. Aramaic, and those are found in the northwest frontiers in the Gandhars area. Why? Because after the invasion of the Alexander the Great, large number of these peoples from the Greek lands had, or the Mesopotamia had settled down here. So that's the, we know very well. I have taught you in the Mesopotamia, the Aramaic language was spoken there. So the peoples from the Mesopotamia who could understand the Aramaic language settled down in the northwest frontiers after the uh, after the decline of Alexander the Great. Large scales or the large number, muster strong, the Mesopotamians and the Greeks had settled down there. So as a result of that, Aramaic to now the royal orders, Asoka the Great had inscribed on the pillars and the rocks. So these were written Aramaic, so that it was quite obvious or quite clear that the Aramaic people is speaking the Aramaic language now on the lived in the area of the northwest frontiers. And moreover, we see that the history of early Islam, apart from these sources or the Christian chronicles, we have the legal text. The legal text of the time, any contemporary time, also speaks a lot about the history of the any country, about the many information we get regarding the law and order, and moreover geographies. Now the geographies also give the many of give also information about the history of the any country. So now we can see or moreover travelogues. The travelers also the travelers say travelers. Then now we know the traveling say have been the interest of the many scholars say right from the beginning. So the many scholars they traveled traveled from one parts of the world to the other parts of the world. They traveled, understand, took the travel for appeasement of their interest. They had the very much interest in the knowing the world, knowing the any part of the world. So these travelers also after the traveling they used to write their accounts, and wherever they just traveled and made their journey. And many we know also that many of the foreign travelers are now visited in our country, and they have given a lots of writings about the Indian culture, Indian society, culture, political system, economic system, or about the Indian people's conditions, our food habits, all kinds of the information they have given. Amongst them, some are the very important. You know very well that the first, if you see the from the China, the now the from the China who visited India, the Fahian. We know that during the whose periods, whose kings, during the period of the Chandragupta Bikramaditya. Then after the Winsong, he visited India during the time of Harshvardhan. So now many of it they have after they now visited at the Buddhist places, and they were much interested in the writing or collecting the philosophical knowledge from India. Understand? The large bulk of the books and the accounts they have carried from India associated with the Gautam Buddha. So now we and they during their just stay in India, they had retained a lots of our and they had observed. Uh, Although they were the foreigners and they could not they understand the actual system, but even then, whatever they saw, what I saw, they now quoted and wrote down. Understand? So these accounts are also very important for the knowing the history of the any country and any country of the world. Or moreover, we have to be the sea. Travelogues, literary works, now the stories and the poems, stories and poems are very important for the telling the history of the any country, history of the any country. For examples, now the Amir Khusro. Do you know Amir Khusro? Who was Amir Khusro? Was not not a historian. He was a Amir Khusro was not a historian. He was a he was what? He was a poet, Amir Khusro. But even then, his accounts or his writings are or the writings are very important for the knowing the history of the sultans, history of the Alauddin Khilji, history of the Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Now, the many accounts we know from the Amir Khusro. Amir Khusro works now, like the Tughlaq Nama, Kiran Shadain, Laila Majnu. Now, these works the Amir Khusro had composed, uh, composed, or he was just many of the accounts he have given about the Alauddin Khilji. So we know that his poems and the or the prose are also important for the giving the history of the any country. Understand? Knowing the history of and constructing the history of the any country. Moreover, students, we have all these also through the significance light on the origin and expansion of the Islam during the period under the consideration. Expansion of Islam. First, another sources of history we are documents. Documents. So what kind of the documents? These documents are the fragmentary pieces of writings. Fragmentary fragmentary pieces of the writing. Now, these are the particularly related with the official orders. These fragmentary documents are related with the officials orders and 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 the correspondence the during the rule or during the any or the any rulers in the any administration and any states that these officials now continuously just corresponds officials correspond regarding their orders and regarding their commands and the orders they explain and correspond each others the orders of the state. So this also for the very simple for the knowing the history of Britain, history of colonial history of India. So now we are completely uh, dependent on the British officials corresponding during the British period. The Britishers say they had corresponded the letters and corresponded the orders of the British government during the India. So now today these are the placed in the archives. And if you are going to construct and compose the history of India, understand during the British period that you must have to be the dependent. You have to essentially dependent on those records of the archives record which where the correspondence of the officials, British officials, had been compiled. So now these are also these becomes the very important sources of the history to compose the history of any country. Second thing is that now or the documents evidence does not, and these are the supposed to be the more significance because here these are the written not consensually about the any events or about the any rulers, no consensually, not the intentionally, we can say in other words there is no intention of the good and bad, understand, there is right and wrong, and there is no, they are not affected or influenced, they write whatever the fact is there, understand, these are the compiled in those forms, and that form, so these are the supposed to be the more reliable sources of the composing the history, and we can say they are the more objective. These are the much more objectivity we can find, and it one thing is that it is the considered substantial dependable sources of history writing, the Greek and Arabic papyri. The Greek and the Arabic papyri, their correspondence was written in the papyri, that is derived from the papyrus, and the Geniza records. Geniza records provide a sufficient documentary evidence for a writers who wants to compose the history of any country, understand, so to know about the history of arabs, a much or the much sources we can get from the documents, and from the and from papyri and from Geniza, or from the other sources. Next is comes the archaeological sources. Now you know, as students, the archaeological sources. This is the sources are the one of the very important sources of the composing the history of the any country. So now we know that our one of the very great civilization, Indus Valley civilization, which had been the completely composed and written down on the basis of the archaeological sources. In archaeological sources, we get what we take as our archaeological sources: the old buildings, monuments, old remains, wares, vessels, bangles, plates, cups, broken, this, and the as well as we can say, take as the seals, beads. This all comes under the archaeological or inscriptions, and the coins also. Coins is also included in the archaeological sources. So this all the sources, on the basis of that the history is composed. So the we have the example that the entire Indus Valley civilization was composed completely. Civilization was written down on the basis of the archaeological evidences. Mesopotamian history, you have studied that this was completely uh, just completely written down on the basis of the archaeological sources. Moreover, students, so archaeological sources, and they deserve a significant place in the history writing, and that is why these are the very authentic, and deserves the, and particularly establishing the names and the dates of the any rulers, and the any dates of the any rulers or the dates of the history, understand. Moreover, another sources are the many of the research about the history of the Arab have been made in the 19th and 20th century. Arabian history has been the made or the written down in 19th and 20th century. First of all, we see that the university professors in German professors and the Netherlands. Okay, they just began the historical writing in 90, writing of the history regarding the Arabs in the 19th century, and France and Britain had their colonial interest in the Middle East. And we know that now in the Middle East, the French, the 20th or 19th or 20th century, understand, the French and Britain had occupied the large part of the Middle East area, and the North Africa also had been occupied by the Morocco. We know that a very large part of the Morocco had been captured captured by the France. And the Egypt, we know here the Egypt was completely captured by the Britain. So these writers of the France and Britain, they were much interested about the writings of the history, writing writing the history of the North Africa and the and North Africa, history of the North Africa and the Middle East. So now, these moreover, the Christian missionaries now used to come in the Africa or in Asia or in different parts of the world. The mission was what the Europeans, these imperialist countries of the Europeans had the mission what? The gold, glory, and gospel. Understand? Gold, glory, and gospel. These were the mission of the Europeans imperialistic country. So the in the gospel means the propagation to propagate the Christianity. The Christian missionaries now regularly used to send their delegations to persuade the innocent peoples of Asia and Africa, or persuade to embrace the Islam. Sorry, embrace the Christianity. Sorry, embrace the Christianity. So they now send. So these Christian missionaries had the much interest about the writing of the history of the Arabs. Understand? So they started the writing and collecting the evidences of the history of Arabs. So this and then after they composed and compiled, or after that they wrote the history of the Islam, or history of Islam. Why they were interested that? Their main interest was in that they wanted to analyze the analyze the Islamic traits, Islamic culture with that of the Christian's culture or Christian religion. So that was the interest of these Christian missionaries. Why? They could say, they could enable to say that their Christianity is much more better than the Islam. So for that religious deals and religious rivalries, they now started and took the interest in the study of the Islamic history. And as students, and these scholars who have well known of their knowledge Arabic and Persian, gradually these scholars who were the very much who had the knowledge about the eastern countries, about the east or no Persian, or they did the Arabic and Persian, they did they analyzed the Arabic and Persian's knowledge very critically. So they used to be called as the Orientalists. Orientalists. They are called as the Orientalists, and moreover, about among them, Ignaz Gold Goldjiher. Ignaz Goldjiher. He belonged to a Hungary, or and belonged to a Jew community. Jew, or he studied at the Islamic College, Al Al Azhar, in the Cairo. In the Cairo Islamic College, Al Azhar, where he studied. Ignaz Gold Goldziher studied there. He was a Hungarian Jew. Understand? He made his very detailed study there, and moreover, and Ignaz now studied and produced a number of valuable works on Islamic history. Now, this Gold Jihad produced a large number of the books on the Islamic history, and And further, or the Islamic law also on the threw the light on the Islamic law and the theology in German, or also the theology in German language. Theology, what is the theology? The science of studying the religion. It's called the theologist. So on the religious study, he on the religion he made the very detailed study, or produced a lots of books about the Islamic history. So here we can see that now, or 20th century, now the next century turns 20th century, the historians of uh, Islam generally followed the interest and methods of the Orientalists. All the 20th century historians, they followed the track of the 19th century Orientalists, understand. And further, these works occupy a very significant place in the recognizing or reconstructing the history of the rise and the expansion of Islam in the world. Now, students, we have to further see that the rise of Islam in Arab. The before the knowing the rise of Islam in Arab, we have to go. We have to know about the topography of Arab, the geography of Arab. Understand the how the Arab geography, Arab where the situated on the map, and what was its what is its topography, what is its setup. Understand? The first Arabian Peninsula is surrounded by a Red Sea in west. First, if you should see the map. Understand? So now, students, we see the map, and first of all, this Arabian Peninsula was by surrounded by the Red Sea. Red Sea in the east, sorry, west. You see on the map, Red Sea in the west, Arabian Sea in the south. In the south, you can see that the Arabian Sea is there. Arabian Sea in the south, and the Persian Gulf in the east. East of the Arabian Peninsula is the Persian Gulf. You can see on the map. If you have the book with you, so you can see what I am telling that. The Arabian, now here, Persian Gulf in the east, and uh, most of the peninsular sea in the south, south of it's the Arabian Sea, understand, or it's or Persian Gulf east, and the west which the Red Sea. Understand? From all three sides, this peninsula, just coastal area, touch the waters. Understand? And most of the peninsula, either the desert or the dry grassland. Most of its part is the desert or the dry grassland, or rainfall in this peninsula is the very scanty. It receives the very scanty rainfall, or now periods of drought extending. Sometimes the period of drought extending in this area is for 3 years. Generally, it is the common that it droughts not only for 1 year. Crops failures no. For the 3 years is the common desert, and the no common absent of the rainfall, or the absent of rainfall, or now quite common. Coastal area gets some more than the interior one. Coastal area, we see that some more rains happens in, or the brief spells of rainfall in a good, very in a brief spells of mainly winter or spring. A few a very brief rainfall uh, uh, spells during the uh, winter and the springs. Understand? And moreover, the region lacks the area in a good harbor and the rivers. No river, only one river, that Hajar River, which is important for communicating the west and east. Understand? But apart from no other rivers is there. Understand? And moreover, or there is no good harbors in the Arabian. There is no good harbors, but only the one Aden. Aden is a only one very good harbors there, and or hardly any good harbors is found there. Very difficult. So this is the topography of the Arabs, and okay, students, this lecture will be the continue in the next class. Understand? Oh, that's okay for, and that's all for this day. Thank you very much attending the class.